Midway through Can't Help Falling in Love, a stage light exploded above the front row. Sparks rained down, and the band froze. In the glare, Elvis stepped forward, eyes locked on a woman shielding her little boy. If you love true moments where music legends show their heart, you'll want to see how this night changed one family forever. The first crack wasn't the music, it was glass. Las Vegas Hilton showroom. The kind of night when the air is thick with cigarette smoke, perfume, and the anticipation of something electric. The house lights fade, and a single beam cuts across the room, picking up tiny motes of dust in the air. The low hum of an amplifier joins the sound of ice shifting in glasses. The curtain pulls back, and there he is, Elvis Presley, stepping into view in a white jumpsuit, gold belt glinting under the stage lights. The crowd reacts instantly. A wave of cheers and whistles rolling toward the stage. But in the middle of that rush, one small detail stands out. In the front row, a woman in a red dress keeps glancing upward, her hand occasionally brushing the shoulder of the boy beside her. The boy can't be more than 7. A program is folded neatly in his lap, his small fingers gripping the edges. Above them hangs a bank of heavy stage lights, warm and humming. The band kicks into the first medley, C.C. Rider, bleeding into I Got a Woman. The drums are tight, the bass deep enough to rattle the tables. The boy's head bobs with the beat. His mother forces a smile, but her eyes keep flicking to the light rig. Then it happens. A sharp, metallic pop cuts through the music. One of the lights bursts, shards spraying downward like sparks from a welder's torch. The crowd gasps. Some duck instinctively. A few pieces clink off the edge of the stage, scattering across the carpet near the front row. The band hesitates, unsure if they should stop. Elvis doesn't hesitate. He lifts one hand, palm out, and the band freezes mid-note. The spotlight catches on the sequins along his sleeves. For a moment, the entire room holds its breath. Security rushes toward the front row, motioning for the woman and boy to step back. But Elvis takes a single step forward, then another. His gaze is locked on them, reading this. The boy isn't crying, but his wide, unblinking eyes are fixed on the shattered bulb above. His mother shifts, half shielding him with her arm. The scent of burnt dust drifts from the broken light. Elvis speaks into the stillness, his voice carrying without the mic. "Y'all all right?" The boy nods but doesn't speak. Without waiting for an answer from security, Elvis steps down from the stage's edge, his polished boots catching the light with each move. The crowd begins to murmur, people craning their necks to follow. Somewhere in the back, a camera clicks. The drummer rests his sticks across his lap. Every eye in the Hilton showroom is now on the same moment. The king of rock and roll closing the space between the spotlight and the shadows at the very edge of the stage. Elvis reaches the floor, just a few feet from the boy and his mother, and then, without a word, he moves closer. He's not going back to the microphone, he's heading straight for them. The room is silent, except for the sound of his boots on the carpet. Elvis doesn't rush, every step is measured, as if each one is part of the show. But this isn't part of the show. Not tonight. His eyes stay fixed on the boy. The crowd, unsure what's happening, leans forward. You can hear the rustle of programs, the soft creak of chairs. People whisper in small bursts, then stop as if afraid to miss a word. The boy is sitting now, his small shoulders tense. In his lap, that folded cardboard sign is visible for the first time, handwritten in thick marker. It reads, "First concert with Mom." Elvis kneels beside him, lowering himself until they're eye level. His white scarf shifts slightly, brushing the boy's knee. The boy grips his program tighter, the corner bending under his thumb. "You okay, son?" Elvis asks, voice soft enough that only those nearby can hear. The boy nods quickly, too shy to speak. His mother exhales, The kind of breath you don't notice you've been holding until it's gone. Don't worry, Elvis says, glancing at the light rig above them. We'll make sure you see the whole show. Behind him, 2 security guards sweep the glass from the floor. One of the stage crew adjusts the remaining lights, muttering to another about replacing the fixture. The faint smell of hot metal lingers. Elvis reaches up and pulls the scarf from around his neck. With a slow, deliberate motion, he loops it gently around the boy. The fabric settles against the boy's shirt collar. The boy looks down at it like it's made of gold. There's a ripple through the crowd, that low ah sound that starts with a few people and spreads. Cameras click again, little flashes popping from the audience. But Elvis isn't done. He glances back toward the stage, then toward the boy. Something shifts in his expression, a decision made right there on the spot. He pats the boy's shoulder once, stands and turns toward the band. From the stage, the guitarist is watching for a cue. Elvis gives the smallest nod. Whatever's coming next, it's not going to be the next number on the set list. He doesn't climb back onto the stage. Instead, he points, and the first chords ring out. The guitarist's fingers press down on the strings, and the opening notes of "Love Me Tender" float into the silent room. The melody is slower than usual, deliberate, as if every note is being placed with care. Elvis stays near the boy and his mother, just a few feet from their table. His microphone cord trails across the carpet, the black coils snaking back toward the stage. The crowd is hushed now. You can hear the faint hiss of the amplifier and the occasional clink of a glass being set down somewhere in the back. "Love Me Tender." His voice is soft, intimate, not the booming arena tone. This is the sound you'd expect if he were singing in your living room. The boy's eyes are locked on him, his small hands still gripping the program in one hand, the scarf with the other. His mother's eyes glisten, the corners wet, as she tries to smile for her son. A woman at a nearby table covers her mouth, whispering to her husband, "I've never seen him do this before." Camera flashes blink through the dim light, but Elvis doesn't seem to notice. His gaze moves between the boy and the mother, each line of the song landing like it's meant only for them. By the second verse, the mother's hand moves from the boy's shoulder to his hand, holding it gently. The band, sensing the mood, strips the arrangement down even more, just the guitar, bass, and a light brush of cymbals. Midway through the song, Elvis crouches slightly, lowering the mic toward the boy. The boy blinks, surprised, then leans forward. His voice is barely a whisper, but into the microphone it carries. "Love Me True." The crowd explodes with applause. It's not just polite clapping, it's a swell, a roar that rises, rolls, and then fades as Elvis moves into the final lines. When the song ends, he doesn't pause for the usual cheer. Instead, he leans down and says something quietly to the boy. The boy nods, a shy smile creeping across his face for the first time all night. The audience, sensing something rare, stays quiet. It's the kind of hush where you can hear people breathe. Elvis pats the boy's hair gently, then finally stands tall again. He glances toward the stage, signaling the band with a small wave. The bass player looks confused. This wasn't on the set list, but Elvis simply smiles, the kind of smile that says he's exactly where he wants to be, and nothing's going to rush him. He takes one last look at the boy and his mother, before turning back toward the steps leading up to the stage. Mid-roll cliffhanger. What the audience doesn't know is that this moment, as touching as it is only part one of Elvis's promise that night. He doesn't just leave them with a song, he calls for someone from the wing. As the final chord of "Love Me Tender" fades, Elvis turns slightly toward the shadows at stage right. A stagehand, headset on, clipboard in hand, steps forward. Elvis beckons him with a tilt of his head. The man approaches the boy's table, leaning close to listen. Elvis says something softly, but the boy's mother can hear it. "After the show, come see me." The boy's eyes widen. His mother's lips part in disbelief, and she mouths, "Thank you," over and over as Elvis steps back toward the stage. The band launches into the next number, the tempo quick, the brass section back in full swing. The room returns to life. Waitresses weaving between tables, couples clapping along. But there's a pocket of stillness in the front row, where mother and son exchange glances like they've just been let in on a secret. Between songs, Elvis keeps glancing toward them. Sometimes it's quick, almost imperceptible, a flick of the eyes between lyrics. Other times it's a small nod, as if to remind them he hasn't forgotten. Midway through the set, he tosses scarves into the crowd as usual, but none with the same slow, deliberate gesture he'd given the boy earlier. It's clear to anyone watching, this family is on his mind. Near the end of the concert, the familiar closing medley begins. The energy builds, the crowd clapping in unison. Then comes the final bow. The brass hits, the lights flare, and applause fills the Hilton showroom. Most people think that's the end of the story, but as the mother starts gathering her purse, and the boy folds his program carefully, an usher appears beside their table. He leans in, speaking over the noise. "Come with me." In his hand are 2 laminated passes, backstage in bold, gold letter. The boy looks at his mother, uncertain, but she nods. They stand and the usher leads them toward a side door near the stage. Behind them, the rest of the audience is still cheering for encores they won't. They disappear into the shadows of the backstage corridor, the door swinging shut behind them. What happens next is even more unexpected, and it's far from over. Away from the crowd, the air is cooler, but the energy follows him down the hall. The usher leads them past stacked speaker cabinets and coiled cables, the faint smell of hairspray and hot electronics lingering in the air. Muffled applause still seeps through the walls from the showroom. At the far end of the corridor, Elvis is waiting. He's traded the spotlight glare for the softer light of a bare bulb overhead. Without the roar of the crowd, his presence feels different, warmer, less untouchable. "Hey there," he says, smiling at the boy. "Heard it's your first show." The boy nods, clutching his folded program like it's the most valuable thing in the world. "What's your name?" Elvis asks. The boy tells him. Elvis repeats it back, slow and clear, as if committing it to memory. They talk about school, about the boy's favorite song. According to those who were there, Elvis leans in and tells him quietly, "You're part of the show now." The boy's smile spreads, and his mother's eyes glisten again. Then Elvis takes the program from the boy's hands, flips it open, and pulls a pen from his pocket. His handwriting is big, a little uneven, as he signs his name. Beneath it he sketches a tiny guitar, quick but careful. When he's done, he hands it back. The boy stares at the page, running his fingers over the ink, as if it might rub away. Elvis isn't finished. He slips off the black tour jacket he's wearing, the one from that night's set, and drapes it over the mother's shoulders. "Something to remember it by," he says. The jacket is heavy, lined with satin, still warm from the stage light. She pulls it closer around herself, stunned into silence. A stagehand appears at the doorway, signaling that Elvis needs to get moving. The moment is ending, but it doesn't feel rushed. Elvis crouches one last time so he's eye level with the boy. "You keep that scarf safe, all right?" The boy nods, gripping it with both hands. They start to walk toward the exit, the mother glancing back with every few steps. Just before they disappear around the corner, the boy turns back and waves. Elvis waves too, not the casual, showman's wave from the stage, but a small, genuine flick of the hand meant for one person only. 1 week later, there's a knock at their door, and a package that will change everything. 7 days later, the doorbell rings. On the porch sits a box big enough to hold a guitar case. The mother steps onto the porch, the early afternoon light bouncing off the cardboard. There's no return address, just their names written in black marker. The boy hovers at her side, eyes wide. Together, they carry it into the living room, and set it on the carpet. The tape comes away with a slow rip. Inside, wrapped in brown paper, is a child-sized acoustic guitar. The wood gleams in the sunlight pouring through the curtains. The strings are new, tuned, ready to play. Taped to the fretboard is a folded piece of paper. The mother peels it away carefully and opens it. In Elvis's unmistakable handwriting, it reads, "You'll always have a seat in the front row, Elvis." The boy stares at the words, then at the guitar, then back to his mother. She's smiling through tears, holding the note like it's made of glass. He sits on the floor, guitar in his lap, his small hands fumbling with the strings. The sound is uneven, but he's already strumming something close to a song. That night, the guitar leans against the side of his bed. He refuses to sleep until it's within reach. The scarf stays draped over his headboard, the jacket folded neatly in his mother's closet. Neighbors hear about it within days. The story spreads, not about the light that broke, but about the singer who stopped a show for two strangers. According to friends of the family, the boy played that guitar for years. He learned "Love Me Tender" first, and every time he played it, his mother would sit nearby, still wearing the scarf on her lap like it was the most delicate thing she owned. For decades, they told the story exactly the same way. The moment the light broke, the way Elvis stopped everything, the song sung just for them, the package on the porch. It became a family legacy, one that didn't fade, even long after the music stopped for Elvis himself. And if you ever visited their home, the guitar was still there, not in a display case, not on a wall, leaning casually in the corner, always ready to be played. Because to them, it wasn't a relic, it was a promise that someone they'd met for less than an hour had meant every word he said. Some moments in life happen in a flash, but they echo for a lifetime. If this story moved you, share it with someone who believes kindness can stop a room, and tell me in the comments, what's the most unforgettable act of compassion you've ever witnessed?